No, the reason that Jesus referred to her as woman was to fulfill the scriptures. If you read on chapter 12, it says, a great sign appeared in the sky, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. She was with child and wailed aloud in pain as she labored to give birth. So here there's a woman in the sky, that John saw. This woman had a crown. This woman was a queen. This woman was with child. Now remember, this is a prophetic book that John was telling us. How do we know who this woman is if Jesus referred to the woman as woman? But we recognize the woman by her son. Then another sign appeared in the sky. It was a huge red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, and on its head were 7 diadems. Its tail swept away a third of the stars in the sky and hurled them down to the earth. Then the dragon stood before the woman, about to give birth, to devour her child when she gave birth. Remember, this is a prophetic book. Guys, do you remember when the 3 kings went to see Herod? What happened when the 3 kings went to see Herod? Herod wanted this new king that they went to tell him about. Herod wanted him dead. He said, who is this new king? And what happened? That Herod sent out for all the newborns to be slaughtered. All this baby kids. Jesus hasn't even been born yet, and he already sent out the word for all the newborns to be slaughtered. Remember that Joseph was awoken in the dream and said for him to grab Mary and the baby, for him to leave, because Herod was going to send out to kill the baby. He wanted to kill the baby. And this is true. Here it is, where it says, then the dragon stood before the woman about to give birth, to devour her child when she gave birth. Listen, this is how we know this is Mary. She gave birth to a son, a male child, destined to rule all nations with an iron rod. Her child was cut up to God and his throne. The child that this woman had is Jesus. He's the only one that we know that has this type of power, that was going to sit on the throne with God. Is Jesus himself. He is the Messiah that we were awaiting, that we awaited. And if you keep reading, it says here, but the woman was given 2 wings of the great eagle so that she could fly to her place. This woman was given wings. This woman was took into heaven by God. God gave her these wings, and God can't do this. God is all powerful. God did this with Enoch and Elijah. He took them too so that they wouldn't experience death. But I want to read a little bit more before that. And it says here, then the war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels battled against the dragon. The dragon and its angels fought back, but they did not prevail, and there was no longer any place for them in heaven. The huge dragon and the ancient serpent, who is called the devil and Satan, who deceived the whole world, was thrown down into earth, and its angels were thrown down with it. It says here that this dragon was Satan. This dragon and the serpent, remember, ding, ding, ding. Genesis, who is the book of Genesis, that is also a prophetic book. Remember, I will put enmity between you and the woman. Okay, remember the woman, Mary, Satan, who is not a snake that was condemned, like just the actual like the animal snake, but here it is, the serpent, who is Satan, who is the demon, who is the devil. And if we go off and keep reading, and it says here, chapter 17, it says, then the dragon became angry with the woman and went off to wage war against the rest of her offspring, those who keep God's commandments and bear witness to Jesus. Guys, Catholics, we have Mary. We take Mary as our mother, because when Jesus was in the cross, one of his last wills was, woman, here's your son. And he said to the disciple whom he most loves, he said, here's your mother. And from that day on, that disciple took her into his home. We take Mary into our home. We venerate her. We give her the respect that God himself gave her. I mean, when the angel went to see Mary, he said, Hail Mary, full of grace. That is a salutation that was given to a king, to a queen. If you are familiar with the Old Testament, then you would know that. And why do we say that Mary is queen? Because Jesus is Lord. Jesus is king. So Mary is queen. In the Old Testament, you're able to see that because they were married to, and the kings were married to so many wives, they couldn't choose one wife to be a queen. So the queen of the king in the Old Testament was always the mother. And so Jesus is king, Mary is his mother, so Mary would be the queen. You commit idolatry when you worship other gods. God is a jealous God. You will not worship another God. And Mary is not another God. We don't think Mary's God. We venerate her, we love her, we respect her for what the place that God gave her. for the place that God gave her, the position that he gave her. That's how we respect her. That's how we believe that God is a God of the living, not of the dead. He says it in the Bible. God is a God of the living, not of the dead. So yeah, Mary is not dead. Mary is actually living and thriving, and she's sitting in the temple, as John told us. Because Catholics, we believe that she is the Ark of the Covenant. All this is not a coincidence. All this is not something to disregard. All this is true. The word comes to life. So thank you. Thank you for watching my video. God bless you.